Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Rachel Vincent and I am a 4th grade teacher in South Carolina. And I thought I would take you along this week as I am doing some lesson planning. I am fortunate enough to work on a wonderful team to where we split the lesson planning. So I only do writing and grammar, which we alternate units. This week I'm planning a writing unit, and then I also plan for word study, which we do every day. We are currently in our morphology unit. We started the year off teaching the 6 syllables types, and then we just recently switched over to teaching prefixes and suffixes and root and base words. So we are in the middle of like week 2, I think. Anyway, so that's what we're doing this week. That's not what I'm planning. So I'm gonna bring you along this week on sort of like a plan with me to show you how I plan for a writing unit. So like I said, I am planning our next writing unit. I like to plan in units. It makes everything seem a little bit easier for me, and sorry for my teammates. I'm also cleaning up at the same time. I probably should have done this before I started, but anyway. I just find it easier to plan by unit. It sort of helps me figure out where I'm going, what lessons I need to teach, how long I need to teach. And so let me flip you around and show you sort of my unit plans. They're real basic because I have to turn in pretty much formal lesson plans weekly. It's required by my district. It's been required everywhere I've ever taught in all 20 years. So if you are one of the fortunate people who do not have to turn in lesson plans, be thankful, because the lesson plans we do we do it for others, we don't do it for ourselves. We try to do what we can for ourselves, but that's a whole nother soapbox that I'm not gonna get on. So let me flip you around and show you my unit plans for this next writing unit. Okay, I apologize for the blueness. I will try to edit that in when I'm editing this video. But this is basically our plan. It takes roughly 10 days to do a writing unit in 4th grade. And so this is the 3 weeks before Christmas break that I'm planning for this unit. It is a research unit. We have done narratives, and opinion writing is actually what we're currently working on. And then this is our next writing unit, which is all informational writing. So I sort of planned out that we'll do an introduction, how to take notes, quoting and paraphrasing, writing in our own words. And that leaves them all with time to actually do the research. And then we'll start with the mini lessons on actual writing: introduction paragraph, turning facts into paragraphs, the body paragraph's conclusion, title and subheadings, revising and editing, and then a couple days. Most kids can get it done in 1 day, but there's always a handful that need an extra day. So we have 2 days of publishing, 2 days of sharing writing, and then we're just going to do a free write because I don't like to start a new unit on a Friday. So I actually am going to have a whole video of how I do this kind of unit planning. This video that you're currently watching is coming out before this unit planning video is coming out. So if you want to make sure that you subscribe so that you get to see how I actually plan out a unit sort of with this format. It's real basic, but this is all I need to help get me going on my actual plans. So this is a new unit for us. We've done research writing before. We like to take a lot of our writing units and tie it with our curriculum. Like our opinion writing unit is tied in with our social studies curriculum, and they write an opinion based on if they would want to be a patriot or a loyalist during the American Revolution. And so then we have a biography unit that has to do with our social studies. So we try to have our informational research paper on a science topic. And we have done planet research for however long I've been here. Well, they've changed our science topics or standards, so we no longer have space, which is sad because I love teaching space. And so we have energy and landforms and changes in the geosphere and just sort of some not as fun science topics. So I was really hoping we could do a research paper on national parks, and then they could talk about the landforms in there. Well, our Gifted and Talented program, the 4th graders do a whole project on national parks. So I was like, oh, well, darn, we can't do that. So we are going to be researching natural disasters because that is part of our curriculum, and one of the big sort of pieces of our standards is safety precautions and what to do during a natural disaster, and then of course how it changes the land. So I'm gonna flip you around again to show you what I do next after I sort of have that month-long or unit-long plan of what I'm teaching each day. Then I start to work on what the kids will actually be doing, and then I work on my teaching slides before I turn it into formal plans that I turn in. All right, fix the settings, so it should be a little bit better. So I just created a folder on my drive that has everything that I am using to teach it. So I used the previous form that we had for planet research, and so just did it very similar with natural resources. So in order to know what to teach the students, I had to figure out what they are actually researching. So a description of their natural disaster, the safety precautions, and then we always included interesting facts, paragraph, and then their sources where they got their information. Now, what I noticed is when I was actually looking on the different search engines that we have for our students, it was kind of difficult to find. They were kind of all buried in the different, like on Ducksters and Britannica School and things like that. So to make things a little bit easier, since we are doing this the weeks before Christmas break, I went ahead and created a slideshow that has all the different ones we're doing with the links already there. So if it has a Ducksters page, a Britannica School, and then for their safety precautions, we're going to the National Weather Service. And then of course we have EPIC for any of them. And so we're doing hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes, floods, wildfires, tsunamis, avalanches, volcanic eruptions, blizzards, landslides. So there were a couple that didn't have it, so we went to Kittle for the research, and then for ready.gov, because it wasn't on the national weather. I guess landslides aren't quite considered a weather event, but this is definitely part of our standards, so we wanted to make sure we included landslides. So we will just post this in Google Classroom for all the students to have access to their sites. And this is basically what they will cite as their sources too, or EPIC books, and their EPIC books that they read, because part of their research will be reading EPIC books. We created our rubric so that, again, we know exactly what the students are supposed to write about. And this, again, also came from our planet. We just kind of adjusted it for the natural disasters. So what I have been working on is our teaching slides. And so our first lesson is just introducing our topic and what is informational writing, and then how they're going to be doing the research. I like to, whatever we do for our slides, on the final slide is what they actually are doing that day. So this is when they will choose the one they are researching, and then they have to read 2 books on EPIC about it, because I don't want them just relying on just the information from the websites I give them. I want them to actually have practice researching. So then we talk about, we're going to fill out this is actually, because this is my second day is taking notes. So I'm going to model how to take the article and use that to take notes, because a lot of them will just straight copy. So I want to teach them how to use it. And so the model we're going to be using is thunderstorms. That's not one they're researching. So I just snipped this from Britannica Schools, and this is from the sheet that they have. And to make it easier on my grade level team, I went ahead and filled out a whole information all on thunderstorms so that they have the information as they're modeling it. So that's day 2. And then day 3, we're going to be teaching summarizing and paraphrasing. So this is actually, it's just in the plans. It's not in these slides, because it's a resource from Teachers Pay Teachers on summarizing, paraphrasing, and quoting. So that sort of just will be linked in the plans. And then they will continue on their research. That's what these are, just working on their research. And then we will talk about, that's not right. So I need to fix that learning target. I don't know. What are we doing that day? Writing in our own words. So I haven't actually written what's for lesson 4, because lesson 5 is our introduction. Okay, so I kind of went with the ones that we had already sort of created, so I need to go back and add some teaching slides there. So we'll talk about a hook and how they could use a question, a shocking fact, or visualizing, and then they will work on their introductions. And we just go through each stage. So the next one is going to be about their supporting paragraphs, talking about text structure. And this is from our biography unit, so I'm going to use the same format. I just need to update it for the natural disasters. And then same thing, a lot of this is from our biography unit, so I just sort of need to update it so it's not repeating the same information. So that's really what I have left to work on. I did the conclusion already, and then we'll talk about headings, revising, editing, typing. So that's sort of where I'm at in my planning process. I've started it, but I still have some work to do. So that's where I'm at. So what I will be working on, I pretty much have everything planned. Actually, I think what I'm gonna do is highlight what I need to work on, which lessons I need to work on my unit plan, so I know what's left. So I have 4 more mini lessons that I need to plan out in the teaching slides before I begin doing the formal lesson plans that has our learning target, our activating strategy, our procedures, our summarizing, closing strategy, our assessments, the standards, all that formal stuff that we're required to put in our lesson plans each week. But again, when it comes to a bigger unit, I like to do it all at once. It just, in my mind, makes it easier. So having a unit plan, I know what I need to teach each day. I know that it's going to be, so technically I could probably write my formal plans now without having the teaching slides ready, but it makes it a little bit easier when I'm the teacher will do this and the students will do that. So I find it easier to continue doing the teaching slides first and then write the formal plans. Again, this is for after Christmas. Which I think you guys will see it while we're doing it, but I'm planning this, we're at the beginning of November. It's November 6th. That's when I'm actually doing this planning. So I'm a week ahead or a month ahead. Our opinion writing that we're currently doing in class now, I did all these plans last year, so it's pretty much just the same thing. This is a new topic, so everything's new. So I'm having to sort of not create from scratch because I'm using some of the space stuff, some of our biography unit, using sort of similar things, but still I want to make it different because I don't want to be repeating the same lessons over and over again. Well, as you can tell, it's a different day. So I forgot to hit record on me working on Monday, and then my students came back from Related Arts, and then yesterday we didn't have our full planning time because we have a shortened schedule because we have clubs in the afternoon. So it was just a wash. I didn't even touch any of these plans because this is for a couple weeks away anyway. So I did finish up the teaching slides, and so now all I have left to do is to actually create my formal weekly plans that we're required to turn in each week. I will kind of flip you around and show you that, and then basically it's just I need to make copies of the graphic organizer and things like that. But like I said, I have a few weeks. I just wanted to make sure I had the stuff that would take time, creating the teaching slides, finding all the information for the kids to research and stuff like that. So let me flip you around. Okay, I'm just gonna show you my folder that I have for everything because I do it all in Google Classroom, so it's easy to share. We are a Google district. So here are the slides that I finished up. Basically, I just wanted to make sure everything I had already showed you. The only thing I was missing that I didn't show you that I needed to fix was having the information with our thunderstorms that I've already done the research for to model. And so I just have a space on here for the teacher to model how to take what we got from the internet and turn it into a paragraph. And so I did that for all of our sections. I think most of us have document cameras now. And so what I'll do is take the graphic organizer, which is this, and I'll just put it under my document camera and do that with them so they can sort of see that process. I think it's better for them to see me actually writing it kind of like this than through these slides. So those will be the modeling process. I'll have to print our rubric. This is sort of the hallway with our standards that we have to hang in the hallway. And then so the final step is actually me writing our formal lesson plans. This is from last year. This is all our space planet research. So I kept it because it's really going to be very similar. I just have to change up a few things. Our standards are all the same, but just changing up a few things. And then of course I created the slides this year that I'll link in our plans. That is my last step, and then I am done planning this unit. So I hope that was helpful to you just to kind of see how I go from unit plan to creating all the things to the actual lesson plans. That's my final step, which to me that I don't need until the week of. So I just wanted to share my process because I know how people plan looks differently. Like I said, in my brain, it really helps to do a whole unit at once, especially with those teaching slides. If I'm short on time, I might have just planned the first 5 lessons for the first week, because this is a 2.5 week unit. So I might have just on the teaching slide just done the first 2 weeks, or excuse me, the first week, the first 5 days, you know, but I have the time because all my other units we did last year. So we're just sort of repeating and tweaking what we need to do. So this was the only like brand new unit that I was doing. So I just wanted to take you along in the process. I hope you enjoyed it. I will have a video coming out soon about how to create unit plans, like I showed you with just planning out your topics for each unit, which makes this planning so much easier. So make sure you subscribe if you want to catch that in the future. And if you're curious to see how I get all the other things done that we are required to do as teachers besides just planning, check out the video that's on your screen now where I give tips of how to tackle our never-ending to-do list.